Hello everyone, it's Mark 3 and welcome to a little bit of something. Yes, little something. Welcome to Sandustry, factory game where you're actually playing around with, as you can see happening in the background, just kind of a demonstration there. Particle physics is in use, and that's not exactly a common thing in many games. Most games it's just like standard units and moving things along belts and stuff. Now this one, as you can see, the sand is crumbling individually per piece, and then how this interacts with the world is kind of how this game plays. So, basically, we're playing a factory game in a sand pit, more or less. I'll just start a new game here. RPA suggested I do a short series on this one, and truthfully, Sandustry is a game that I came across a bit ago, and I have on my wish list, like watching it, but I was never quite sure what kind of content to do with it. Very loud click there. Almost like I'm cocking a gun or something. But never quite sure what to do with it or what kind of content I'd actually make with it. So that's why it's never actually turned up on the channel. So I've got to go into the early game here, see a little bit on the demo. Just suddenly click through. Ooh. Why does my shovel sound like a gun? I don't know. Quick note here, by the way, I don't exactly know how this game sounds either, because for the most part I've played it while listening to something else on my laptop when I was trying the demo before, so I've never really done much with it sound-wise. I'm just digging this hole out here because, well, I'm getting sand for it. Glorious, glorious sand. But I should probably continue with the tutorial so you can actually see what's going on. So press 2 to select your grabber. Yes, we don't grab stuff with our hands, we've got a handy-dandy manipulation tool. Just like Starbound, just like many other things. Click and hold drag. Now, this thing does lock to the first particle it connects with, or if there's multiple things, it's right underneath the cursor. If I click, that is what it picks. So I've got a box of sand, and it tells me to drop it in the water. There we go. Pick up wet sand and shake it. Move the mouse back and forth outside of water. There we go. So manually refining it. I've shaken out the sand. So this is the other thing it does. It's kind of like we're getting all this dirt, we are wetting it, and then we are sifting it for flecks of gold, which we then put into the cell boxes over here. And there's our supply. And we just keep on going like this. So this is also kind of why I wasn't quite sure what kind of content I'd do with it. Because a lot of this is like getting the system going, and then we start to automate it. Then again, that is like basically every kind of factory game is effectively you start out smaller and then you get bigger and bigger and bigger. In this case, it is just kind of literal a little bit. Oh. Like we are literally like ye olde prospectors, just hand panning for gold. Though we're also producing slag, as you can see, as the waste product there from the sand. So slag is a technical term, actually, which usually applies to smelting. But slag is effectively the runoff of a process which has unwanted materials for the actual main purpose of said process. So in smelting and refining ores into metals, slag is usually like all the other elements and things that have resulted from like the chemical decomposition of the surrounding material for the actual metal you want, or just stuff that was used with refining, stuff that was melted off by the heat, and it's just being removed because it's not the stuff you want, it's the excess material. So it could be all sorts of things, honestly. Yeah. But so I guess it's technically correct that we reduce slag by shaking. The slag in panning for gold would literally be the dirt that you're getting rid of, technically, but it's not often paired that way. I'm blathering partly because, as I said, I'm unsure what I'm doing. So, tech tree, select a tech. I want to get refining level 1. Every dollar is 1 gold pixel currently inside a collector. So collect you. And that gives us our first set of building stuff. So open buildings. We can start to do things. We've got a collector, we've got an automatic shaker, we've got demolition tool, we've got a key which you use to move or copy structures. Ah, I have to remember that one. I didn't actually use that in the test game I did previously, so... And then this is just solid blocks of foundations. Though this is not hard mode. In hard mode you can't actually go through your own structures while floating around, so I can actually do that when I'm flying. So, build some shakers. Okay, I will build some shakers, I guess like that. It wants me to build more. And then it wants to drop the channel. So this is my first step of automation, just flat out. What I want to do though as well is, because I've got that going on, I will block that in, and I will block in up here as well. And just expanding the entire system just a little bit, so that it's going to have an easier time of it. But we now need more sand. Oh yeah, double tapping space actually engages my hover mode, such as it is. So, yeah, you can see why I was a bit uncertain, because, like, I was calling this playing in a sand pit in a factory game, and this is literally what we're doing. This game is actually taking the concept of a sandbox rather literally. And what drew me to this game in the first place is actually the fact that I've often thought like some kind of game where you can operate like underground extraction machines and stuff, as with the entire environment operating through pixels, would actually be rather nice. And it's something I kind of had drifting around in my head for a while, so it's like, oh, it's an entire situation that I was quite interested in. This, of course, doesn't involve my machines. It's all like rather manual, much more small scale than what I thought of, what I had in mind. But it's like, this game's actually trying to do that kind of thing. So, what's going on here? The sifters are automatically sifting, and the thing is, they also gradually move things because stuff will slowly collapse under the force of gravity. And because the slag isn't what it's wanting, it's being shook slowly across the surface, and it's slowly trickling down and out of the way. And that's why I built the wall there, because although there'd be a pile here and some would go into the collection area. Also, I expanded this because these sifters, they stop the slag going through, but any gold, as you saw, will automatically get sorted out very, very quickly and neatly. Though, of course, there is a limit to how quickly it can actually process, so if I overload it, I'll just get sand coming out of the far end of it. That's kind of doing its thing. Okay, logistics. Research. Logistics 1, which will give us conveyor belts and launchers. Okay, our first bigger movers. Would help if I actually had the money, wouldn't it? Give me a second. This is the other reason I wasn't quite sure, content-wise, what I'd do with this game. It's just like, it is literally a chill game. There's some nice ambient music going on in the background, just like going, hey, listen to all this stuff. And it's just like, yeah. Just zone out and play, I think, is the order of the game. That's wet sand. Go ahead and throw you in there. So as you can see, I have moved the setup slightly, and now I'm pulling the slag out because I'm actually getting this into a more uniform system, at least. At least I'm starting to. Let's go ahead and do a bit more about this, shall we? Let's put another rack of shakers up here, I think. Complete with some blocks to stop things from going too far. And I suppose let's make the buying area a bit bigger as well. So get some collectors down here, please. So yeah, this is probably overdoing the entire system just a tiny bit, but I've got to remember that this is still the science system as well. So we're going to see how it goes. Because somewhat deliberately is also the reason that I'm coming back to this with apart from a brief refresher on the controls, I've not actually tried to replay my test save. I've just flat out started out a new save for this one, so that's why I'm also like going a step at a time, a bit at a time, see how we go. Though the reason I've done this is just that we've got more real estate for the sifting to be going on. just so that we can try and keep things going a little bit better. And this doubling up also means there's more room for sand to be processed, which means just increases overall throughput. As you can see from the fact my money is actually quite steadily rising. Though you should also probably note the water is steadily going down. I'm not quite sure how to get more of that beyond finding it. Like I know there's a way to move it from down below to the surface because we get a flamethrower later on, but that's about it. My knowledge is a bit lacking in a lot of ways. Anyway, we've actually got that thing though, so let's go ahead and get the research. Let's go ahead and get conveyors and movers. And that's it for the tutorial, apparently. So, from here I am free to explore following the objective. So, press space in the air to hover. I'm already hovering, as you can see there. It's very slow right now, but we can actually upgrade it. My goal is to find 2 artifacts, find some fluxite, and to unlock guns is next up. I think I can just... Yeah, this initial pocket does actually let me just flat out dig the dirt into the water area. But this entire is kind of limited. We will be moving on from this fairly soon. And so we get back once again to the other reason why I didn't really try to do content with this first time around. It's like, what kind of commentary can I really give? I'm literally playing in the sand and not doing much else. I mean, let's go ahead and put in a launcher here. Drag off to one side means the launcher actually gets will throw off in one particular direction. In this case, I'll be throwing over here into the sorting area. I am going to install a conveyor belt. I want to get it from here. So a very small conveyor belt there, I guess, and then a launcher. Something worth noting, by the way, blocks can't be built into other pixels, belts can't be. That's why that block there is a little bit grayed out. The launcher though can be, and it's designed that way so that you can actually grab pixels and move them. So if I put it like that, it starts to throw up all of the sand. The problem is, of course, it's actually going to pick up some dry sand as well, because it's not all going to be damp. So I'm going to have to actually go ahead and pull that out of the slag pile later on. But this entire thing will steadily work with what water it's got until it's got no more water, essentially. Not that I can't help it out, though, with this. But don't worry, you'll get to see some bigger systems starting to emerge, because there's more systems as well, not just like the sand. There's some ways to process slag. I can see a bit of dirt now appearing down there. A bit of wet sand, actually. This is actually processing faster than it can deal with the wet sand. Just move a little bit over here. Whoops. Oh well, I guess the slag's going to get processed through. Not that it really matters too much. That's okay. And now we are actually out of several things. We're out of space, kind of, to store the slag, which is in itself a slight problem. We've got a little bit of dirt there, which I just pull out, move it. Oh, there's a bit of slag down there too. Just put that in there. And I'll actually go ahead and build another big slag tank over here, just to go ahead and try and get some of this moving up a bit further. Because I don't want to get rid of the slag. The slag is actually somewhat useful later. It's just that right now it is not going to do much. So very, very carefully clicking here to install a rack of throwers at the bottom. So any slag that winds up in here will wind up going through, and a little bit of sand there. Let's go ahead and conveyor belt, grab you, so you're off there, and I suppose do a little bit of deleting, and a little bit more conveyor belts. Just make sure that everything in there gets kind of moved up. And then we'll let that just keep on doing its own thing. I know, it's not the best system. But I do like to have these like along the bottom just because it helps to move an entire section of stuff along quite nicely. But the problem here is actually the lack of water. As I said, this is kind of why I didn't record this game. I feel like my commentary is lacking. Quite simply, it is lacking. But all I'm doing right now is, well, just making sure that all the sand in this area can actually reach where I want it to go. And that's it. Like this side you can throw it back. The problem is that it will actually collide in here, and I just want to run that along here, but we also have another problem, which is what I mentioned before, the fact we are out of water. So everything going through is going to be turned to dry sand now, and so it is not going to be helpful to actually process this. And we need to kind of stop, honestly, because we need more water. End of the day. So, scrap those out, and quickly do that. Worth noting though, building stuff is free. It doesn't cost me to do that. It doesn't cost me to scrap stuff, demolish stuff, copy stuff, any of that. It doesn't matter. I just have to be careful with what I do because it's time for us to... Whoops, there goes some slag. Doesn't matter, it'll fit in there quite nicely. It's time to move on. Because if we move a little bit to the side here, we have got ourselves another pool of water. Look at us, we have more water, we have more dirt. There's a little tunnel here that's kind of suspicious. As you can see, it goes somewhere. But the water reserve here is so much better. And the fact is that it also gives us like extra stuff as well. So I'm just going to convert this area into a more sizable processing facility. And there's not much to say here because I've already kind of shown you what I'm going to be doing anyway in terms of like overall effort, like what it's going to be doing. So the other bane of this game is going to rear its ugly head, and I'm going to do some more time skipping. Because I'm not sure what would be interesting, what to show you guys, or anything like that. This uncertainty is why I've not recorded this game. Ah well. I'll get to play in the sandpit for a while. Alright, let's start to run this through. As you do. It'd be nice if there was a way to actually do this launcher setup not per block. Maybe there is, but I just don't know about it. But it's the only way I've found to really move stuff around versus like just hand moving everything with the tools. I don't know. Anyway, what have I done? I have got a new belt installed. There was a little bit of gold coming through here, which is damp, so it will be processed. There's a little bit that's got through the entire system over there, as we can see. Well, this is just not keeping up. So, this pocket is now mined out anyway. I can more or less ignore it. And just go ahead and tear the bottom out of this storage tank here. Blap. There we go. Because the entire thing is now on a belt, I can just let it move and get added to things over here. So what have I done? I've taken this massive pond of water. I've added in a little bit of future proofing in terms of this little spike here because I know that steam comes out of this at some point. But entire pool is now rigged with conveyors at the bottom. It is moving slightly over, it's giving me a bit more real estate to work with. And then we've got a massive set of shifters up here, which will steadily deal with anything I throw into it, including all that slag that's about to come through. Then that slag is hoisted up once more to go into a storage tank over here, which is currently capped off at the bottom, just so that I can do things. Because I can't place a solid block and then it'll prevent new particles from moving into that block. It's just the block itself won't be built until the particles that are blocking it will get moved away. It makes sense, I promise. I'm just probably being really bad at explaining it. And I might as well just help it out with a little bit of manual slag removal, considering the slag will actually just float on top of the thing, and I didn't think about that before I started moving it all, so... Yeah, probably should have realised that one. Ah well. In fact, I've got a slight problem now, because it's actually going back the wrong way into the tunnel network, so... That's actually a potential problem. I did not expect this to be an issue. I'm backfilling the steam vent with slag. Whoops. I guess. Let's do what probably should be done here and install some blocks. Should have thought of that a bit sooner because I was literally just talking about it. And then you can see this now demonstrates those blocks are now marked in place. Stuff isn't moving into it, but they can't be built because there's stuff in the way. Which is why the conveyor belts don't really work for the bottom of these things, as far as I'm aware, just because you can't really do anything with them. Gotta say that the slag is doing some interesting stuff to the water. Oh, that was... Oh, I actually managed to grab some water. Whoops. My bad. I didn't really know you could do that. Oh, well, I doubt it's going to be the first time I'm going to get water into these tanks anyway. But as you can see, water actually is extremely immobile. Yeah, it's not giving me the option to really try and pick them up. So there's not much I can do about that. Apart from say, darn it, I've got some water in my tank. And try to give it a way out. This is the other reason I'm not recording. Yes, I know, there are many reasons I didn't do this, but I knew that I would foul things up in some way. And this is just how it happens to have been done. Okay, so to get that water out of the tank, what I really need is to stop the slag from coming in, and then just go from there. Give me 5-10 minutes to fix this. I think that's it for all the slag, actually. Apart from whatever's escaped down that hole, but there's nothing I can do about that. The sifter is doing its best to deal with it. It's just taking its own sweet time. Go ahead and drop all that. I suppose now it is time to start moving some of this sand up. So, launchers. I actually want to block that. Just clear this off out of the way so that it can actually do that. Oh, apparently there's a little bit of slag still left in there. There you go. Straight into the other conveyor belts. Well, I call it conveyors, the lifters. Just go straight in the lifters and there we go. And then I will go ahead and actually want you as well. Oh, it is actually building them in. It's just building them in a different texture. Okay, I didn't quite realise that. Anyway, yeah. Just going to go ahead and do launchers. Does that mean that conveyor belts actually work that way as well? And I've just been being a bit silly about it? Maybe? I don't know. Regardless, there is sand, and it shall move. And this digging still sounds so much like a gunshot. Okay, right. Let's test this now. Conveyors. If I was to build you along here, would you actually work? Not really seeing any movement. No, so conveyors, it doesn't work. Using these lifters is still the way to go. A pity. Well, I say lifters, launchers. Gotta call it by the right name, right? But to be honest, a flaw of launchers is just so much faster than the conveyor belts anyway. You can see how slow that's moving. But on the plus side, though, that is actually moving all the way up for the stack that's going through. I mean, look at what's going on down there. The entire thing is actually getting slightly overloaded by the fact it's only able to shift from one launcher at a time, while a conveyor is actually moving the entire lot as it goes. To the point where it's actually getting close to overloading the water with how much wet sand is in there. That's a problem I didn't anticipate. Let's add a single launcher there to help distribute incoming sand a bit. The entire system is still going as best it can, as we can see from down here. And wet sand is actually not going too far down at the moment, so that's doing okay. Though, like I said, there is a slight limitation going on there in terms of like slag processing, so I'll actually uncap that a little bit. But we start to see the actual effects of what this game is a bit like, because it's like it's working. It's processing things through. Is that a piece of gold there? Oh. How did a piece of gold get... I'm guessing it's fallen down this stack here and then got carried in. Oh, well, easy fix. Just put a conveyor going that way, right there. Any gold coming these tiles gets moved, and then that'll sort it out quite nicely. The entire area is actually filling up quite nicely, and we have actually got ourselves our tech, so let's pick up guns. Unlocks guns, damage type, pickaxe. Okay. I didn't realise that was what was going on, but okay, 6. Now, thing is, the gun actually works as a digging tool, this I'm aware of. It's just not very good at it yet. Keyword there being yet, because there are some other things we need to do, at least to start out. And that is, we need to get hands on some fluxite, which is the, see that purple stuff there? That's fluxite down there. Get our hands on that. Also, we can unlock flamethrowers to burn slag, melt ice, and vaporize water into steam that rises to become rain. So we've got ourselves a little burny stick as well. And it says, burn slag, evaporate water, melt ice. Slag can be processed slightly further, or at least rendered much more compact by burning it. Because burnt slag is also a type in this game. I'm trying to pick up that individual piece of gold and it's just not... Oh, there we go. Okay, here you go. $1's a dollar. That is what the game says it is worth, $1. But I need to dig the shaft further, trying to find some fluxite. I don't remember where the first one is that we actually get our hands on. I just know that's the first one we can see. And the test map does actually give us some extra views around. Oh, there's some grass in here. Oh, hey, a little pocket of water. Yes, this is what I meant, that we can find water around the place. Feels so slow digging like this. But it's all I've got right now, so, you know. Well, technically I've got the gun, but it's not very good yet. The advantage of the gun is the fact that it lets me actually do it at a kind of distance, but you can see it's barely making any kind of impact on the actual ground itself, so, you know, it's not exactly doing a lot. From the videos I've seen, though, I know it gets a lot better than this. I've just never actually played that far. Okay, we are here. I want to get my launchers, and we'll go ahead and push it forward a little bit. Though for a higher throughput, we do technically want to get our hands on a conveyor belt through this area. And then that can shunt the entire lot across. I guess that's the advantage of the conveyors, isn't it? The conveyors can just bulk move, while the launchers can get into all the nooks and crannies, but they can't really get at... They can't really shift that much flat out compared to the actual conveyors. But that's all going through, that's all processing. Just let that keep doing its thing. And I will go ahead and dig downwards. Okay, right. So, natural cavern. We've got ourselves our first bit of fluxite, which is basically purple fumes. We're just going to go and huff that, and we are going to be good in that. So, I don't exactly know what fluxite is. It's just whatever it is, it's our material for upgrading stuff. Which it now wants me to upgrade the grabber. Okay, so upgrades. Material scanner can show more information about materials when hovering over it. Hydro sponge picks up water. So it was an accident there that it picked up that water apparently. And then we can also boost our jetpack, boost our flamethrower, and weapons. Quick dig for the shovel, or rapid fire and triple burst for the guns. Right now we've not got much, and it wants us to do the grabber, so... Material scanner shows more material, and the hydro sponge can pick up water. It says above ground only, so we still need the flamethrower to really move stuff up from below ground. But now, ice interacts with fire, sand interacts with water, and pickaxe and explosive works with sand soil. Water interacts with fire and ice. And moss interacts with fire. Let's go ahead and ignite. Let's touch that off. See what happens. Just be a little firebug, I suppose. But I don't think there's much to be found here just yet. Crackstone interacts with explosive. I don't have anything explosive yet, I don't think. Let's see. It was suspiciously shaped for a reason. There is actually stuff in here. Some water. Truthfully, I don't remember much about this map because of how little I really did with it in the first place. So, this is kind of like me roaming around a bit trying to figure out what's going on as well. Just to do it. I've got to bear in mind, this is a random map. Well, random. It's the basic map. The game does actually give access to downloaded maps. I don't know if that's available in download. It probably isn't. I'd probably have to get the full game for it. But yeah, there are other options, other maps to get, which can vary the terrain up. The fact that it's already got the ability to... Well, the fact that they've shared the terrain making kit is a good sign, I think, about how they want to progress with this game. Just trying to clear my way out here to get some stuff moving. Because we want to expand our lines to get all the lovely sand from there up into this area. And obviously we're going to need another... and I'm going to need another launcher. Just on that little bit there, just to try and get that little bit of sand. A launcher there. Launcher there. Okay, so the lifting face is going to be here. I'm going to lift it to... let's make it here. Which of course is going to confuse things just a tiny bit. As you can see, it's going up. It's trying to lift it, but it's slamming into things. It slams into other particles as well as it goes, so there's not much throughput going on at the moment. That's because I want to put a conveyor belt in like that. And then I'll just dig that out so it gets built. And behold, my nefarious plan comes to pass. As the lifts are now working full tilt to get sand up and in position. Or rather, it's trying to. I should probably lift those up slightly. There we go. And now, any sand I put down there is going to get moved quite nicely. No, actually, you know what? I'm probably just I'm just overdoing it slightly. I don't need to worry about any of this. If I just go ahead and install some conveyor lines around the place to move stuff into it, then it doesn't really matter, does it? I think about here, because yeah, that's where the lifter can go. And then I stop being such a baby about it, and I just use the grabbing tool and move stuff out. Oh yeah, that's much better than just clicking and building all those things. If I just plan the conveyor out ahead of time. I will, however, tell it to put blocks down here, just to stop it from, you know, throwing things here, there, and everywhere. Oh yeah, that is so much easier. I wish I'd been doing that a lot sooner, to be honest. It does make the game feel a bit better, just like doing it that way. Though stuff is being tipped in, it is causing some issues for the lifters until they can clear the backlog, but that's all okay. And that's doing its own thing there. Though, of course, I still can't do the conveyor under the water. That's a slight problem. On the flip side, though, this section reacts with the flamethrower into water, and then the water actually reacts into steam, and there's the ice and the rest of the tunnel now appearing for us. So this is letting us actually top up our water supply and explore by digging through the ice just a tiny bit. Oh, I can hear it crackling. Oh, I'd never actually done this bit with sound. I didn't realise that it actually had that. Oh, the crackling is because the snow is falling onto the top of the water and actually freezing. So yeah, you want to be careful not to try and get snow up there. That is ice, isn't it? No, that's actually frost bed rather than ice. Okay, so I can't really do anything about that one. Though something that's happening that shouldn't be is the fact that water is actually flowing back down. I was trying to avoid that happening, so what's going... Oh, I know why. It's trickling down the outside here, so this was put in to catch the steam and force it to go up this way. Then it's getting up out the top, but I never actually prevented a way for the rain, which spreads out to either side of where the steam goes up, to come back down. Like that. So if I do it like that, it forces all the water to go down the other side. And so it's all going back into that surface pond that I had in the first place. But now I've got a bit of water just like randomly around the place as is. Which I'll just have to throw some sand into. No biggie. I should be using the manual tool more often anyway, so I can sort that out. Oop. Yeah, it's going to show how much water has actually got there. Let's blow my music. It really is just making me mellow out and listen. Just very peaceful exploration. There's an arrow there. I wonder if that means I should go that way. Maybe. Kinda, sorta. Could be. As I said, this is the demo/tutorial map, so there's hints and things around the place, so let's see what's over here this way then, shall we? Oh, actually, I should probably move the dirt out of the way first, rather than risk losing stuff. So... let's go to launcher. Why do I say risk losing stuff? I say that because I recall that there is something around here where you can't actually use your terrain manipulation / grabbing tools. And in my test game, I got some dirt in it, and I was like, oh, I can't pick up those few pixels of dirt. It's like, I'm at 3. Come on, there's only a few. There's only a few dollars worth of dirt there. It's like, I know, but pixels. I must loot goblin. I must get it. And it's like, So it did kind of bug me a bit, honestly. And yeah, that water's getting cleaned up nicely. Very good. So that's why I am being a bit loot goblin-y and just like going, you know what? I am going to actually try and get everything, even though I get no benefit for it. I'm just going to massively extend those. Hopefully the tunnel does extend that far. I probably should. There we go. Okay. Then just throw. Also worth noting, by the way, the shovel actually... That's a single bit of sand right there. Oh well. I guess that sand is going to be forever there now. Oh well. So, okay, here we are. This is a puzzle kind of area because, well, I can't actually... Well, I can hover here. Okay, I thought I couldn't. Why do I remember I couldn't? Oh, that's why I was remembering I couldn't. Okay. So, the objective is to get past this little puzzle. Very quick, very simple. But all you need to do, really, is take advantage of the fact that snow snow freezes when it hits water. I think I use a gun, right? Oh, I actually do use the gun. Oh, okay, this is much easier than the first time I tried it. When I first tried this one, if I recall, I didn't actually have the gun. All I had was the shovel, and I actually kind of struggled to get across. The gun, though, makes that so easy. Right. Okay. So that's giving me access to another water reserve and some blast rock down that way, and also gives me access to this, which I think is one of the artifacts, if I recall. Oh, yes, it is. Artifact acquired, Zorfix 22. That's also visibly part of a system over there as well. Artifact 1. Most excellent. We are making progress. There is story here, yes. Aha. No, not really. Oh yeah, I cannot use the flamethrower here at all. Also, I can't just climb up there either because of this whole field. So I'd have to actually get through that blast rock somehow. Ah, well, could be worse. Could be a lot worse. But let's keep on pushing then. And by pushing, I mean digging the shaft deeper, because this is the extractor shaft, is where all of my lovely sand goes to the top. But we do actually have some funds. We might be able to get some more stuff unlocked, I guess. Let's have a look, see. Can level 2 refining. Kinetic slag press to further process burnt slag into more gold. Yes, please. Of course, I'm going to have to make my way back to the surface to actually install the thing, but this is more or less reaching the limit of where I went in my first game, though. I didn't get much past this in terms of progression. So, kinetic slag processor, what does that do? Ooh, purple stuff. Yes, please. Any more purple stuff? Not really. Kinetic slag processing. So, remember I mentioned earlier burnt slag was a thing, and that it could be further processed? Kinetic processing is how that is done. Whoops. No, no, my sand, my precious sand. Oh well, it's okay. I still get it. Vulture. Kinetic slag processing. Basically, it's a very tall vertical assembly where if it falls within the assembly at a certain speed, it then gets processed further from burnt slag into gold. And basically gets rid of most of the master slag through the burning process and then by us doing that to it. But it also means we've got something we can use to try and deal with the slag we've got up here. Though it is worth noting, we've only got access to a way to deal with burnt slag versus actual proper slag. So, oh my. Yeah, this is why we want to actually be doing something about the slag, because the entire thing is just... the entire thing is completely gunked up. Oh dear. Actually, no, it might be a good idea. Put a launcher, like, here. So that way, stuff can actually get shuffled around a bit around the entrance point to give a bit more access. But yeah, this entire thing is full of slag. So let's actually go ahead and do the burning. Let's do a burn off. Click. Let it burn, let it burn, let it burn. Yes, there we go. Okay. Right. Launchers. I will install you guys here. I'll make it uniform for the entire facility. This is probably not the best way to be building a facility, I'm going to be entirely honest with you. But remember, I've only been so far in this game, as I said, so we'll see how it goes. But notice the slag pile is massively decreasing. Okay, and the conveyor belt goes to there. Okay, so kinetic slag processors. Build one, and then it gives you a guide height of where you want to be trying to drop the slag from. Notice, by the way, well, I say you probably note, you do want this to be a bit higher than that. You kind of do. Because while this is extremely likely to get processed at that height, it is not a guarantee at that height. So I'm going to actually install this at the same level as this section here. 5, 9. Yeah, let's make it 9, sure, let's make it 9. Why not? The problem is I don't remember if there's actually a thing here. Into gold and spores. Okay, yeah, there is actually an entire thing here, so let's go ahead and copy this entire setup. I still don't remember how. It's yeah, I have to click on the actual blueprint and then drag that. So that's kind of what threw me off slightly when I first did this. 1, 2, 1. There we go. Did I mention this at chill time? I did mention this at chill time. Conveyor belt goes into gold and spores, so we need a way to actually sort that out. There is a way to do that in the tech tree. Do we have access to it though? We do. There we go, yeah. Level 1 filters. Lots of filter that works like conveyor belts, but allows certain elements to pass through it. So this is going to allow us to actually start physically separating some of our materials, and this is also why this entire setup is built like this. So my filter, I can either allow one element through or block and select it and allow everything else through. Allow one element through, I want you to let through burnt slag. Saw the bottom there. And then I can just go ahead and remove the silo cap. And there we go. Burnt slag is now passing out through the bottom of the silo, and if any slag builds up at the bottom, it won't be done, and that will get sorted out. And notice the gold is actually getting a little bit piled up over here. There is actually some room here for... Oh, that would be a good idea, wouldn't it? Filter, for gold, please, and thank you. There we go. So we've got random spores going around the place because I've once again failed to properly clean the line. Now, why is this a slight issue? It's a slight issue because now we're going to get some wet spores going into the system as well, and the system isn't really rigged for that. Also, wet spore seems to get stuck in the water in general. Not sure what to do with those, so I'll just throw them into the spore tank for the moment. Sure, just keep on going. And then this is actually getting full of burnt slag. I don't know why that's getting full of burnt slag, actually. It seems like... Oh, I know why, I think. It's because when it hits that side, it loses its fall speed because it's not going fast enough, so it's actually hitting the bottom and not going through properly. That is kind of why. So, I can't just be chucking it in like this. I need to actually go ahead and... I guess... Yeah, let's do that, sure. Demolish, and then install some solid blocks. Actually, I could install some filters just to allow the stuff through. In fact, that's probably going to be the better way to try and handle things overall, but if I do like that, then it'll at least go ahead and sort stuff out. I do need, though, gold catchment underneath this. Sure, let's do it like that. Oops. Yeah, okay, that's kind of showing you that there are actually some diagonal variants of these blocks. Right now I've got steps, effectively, which can be over or under as a alternative to square blocks in the corners. I just don't know if it's a good idea or not. So, let's see, put the collectors up here. That's all fine. We've actually got a case of too much gold going on over here. Thing is, though, I kind of want to install some launchers to help move things around gold-wise, but it's like then it'll just get stuck in the slag tank, won't it? So what do you do then? Well, I guess the obvious thing to do is actually to try and spend it, I guess. So, let's actually go ahead and demolish this row here. Okay, the entire thing actually does count as being in a heap, I guess. So what happens if I go ahead and demolish the bottom row and then install launchers along the bottom row? Actually, no, a better idea would actually be a conveyor belt, wouldn't it? If they're still treated as a mobile particle within the actual storage thing, then a conveyor belt would, I guess, be the better option for shuffling things along. Because they'll get stuck eventually. So, if I just make the collectors like that, I guess. Let's go ahead and remove the top layer as well. And then, if I just scoop out to remove the belts, will the entire thing start moving? I'm hoping it will. Let's give it a try. Yeah. While inside those blocks, it's actually moving them. So you can put a conveyor belt along the bottom of it, and it'll help to distribute where all of the gold and stuff is. I didn't realize you could do that. I was in the test game, I approached it like once they're in these boxes, that's it. They can't be really moved or interacted with. But no, they're still fully mobile in there. It's all just clinking around. But there we go. Now the entire thing's got a belt on it. What's in you? Interesting. And the game seems to be slightly confused about what I'm doing with it too, actually. So how do I get it all to pile up? Apparently it's not wanting to move if there's already stuff there. I don't know, maybe it's wants me to try and move it somewhere else. Maybe I should be trying to move it somewhere else. Maybe I should actually be using launchers to try and aid the overall wealth distribution, I guess. Let's throw that there. Let's throw in a launcher in that square. Oh, not there. That is actually doing something. Yeah, that is actually doing something. It does mean that tile isn't counted as far as like my overall where everything is. True, but it does mean it's actually trying to shuffle along it. So maybe that's what this video is about. Advanced design of gold storage with Iron Mark III. Oh yes, witness my power. With my aid, you too can make completely random adjustments to a gold storage setup, which are probably entirely unnecessary. Okay. Maybe that's just it. Maybe that's my content here. It's just like trying random things, and sometimes they even work. I don't know. Anyway, oh, I forgot to actually clean this out. Just go ahead and fine. Problem is, it's actually now stopping because I just unlocked the slag there for a moment. It's now actually just getting stuck in there flat out. So block all element. Sorry, block the selected burnt slag. Unfortunately, that's the base of the thing. Can I place it? No, I can install it there. But the problem is I think that's now going to block the entire assembly from working. Let's go ahead and actually allow it to move stuff there. Now, the problem is, of course, until I actually get all this stuff cleaned out, it's not going to do anything. So yeah, I think there's no actual forgiveness in that setup. If a burnt slag is stuck in there, then it will actually get stuck in there, and so nothing can really be done about it, because I can't automatically pull it out. And it's going to sit on there as well, because these aren't actually conveyors either. So the only interaction is if it comes slamming down at full speed. And why is there... Oh yeah, there was some... Wasn't there some spores got locked into the system a little bit, yeah. Move those. There's also a little bit of sand in there too. Get rid of that. And go ahead and torch this thing off again, just this little plug here. I've noticed that. This setup seems to not like when there's a little plug. But there's no reason why I can't install an automatic thing that just sifts around and shuffles it if it gets blocked, because it's also a conveyor, remember, so it's trying to move it, it's just there's nowhere to move it to right now. That might be a thing I can do, actually. I think to help with it a little bit. Yeah, that seems to be working okay. I was slightly concerned about the fact it seems to be reaching the site, but it seems like the 2 is working just as the output level. Oh, hang on, I just saw that. A little bit of slide just failed to process, so I think this could do with being a little bit higher. Either that or I just move. Actually, the simplest one's probably actually going to be if I move the filter layer down slightly. Filter for golds. There you go. Oops, no, that's in the wrong mode. Ugh. I'm making it better, I swear. Yeah, unfortunately, this does remember what it's doing. Filter for gold, yes please. I want you to go there. And then conveyor there. And remove this layer here. There you go, that gives it a bit more space, so it won't be having that problem anymore. Then the launchers to carry it all out, otherwise it will have that problem really badly. And this... Yeah, look how much gold is coming out of that burnt slag now. It's getting really, really massive, to the point where I do want to actually be moving this around in the in the gold storage area, just because it's now actually overflowing rather badly. In fact, I don't need this conveyor belt anymore. I could go ahead and just do that. There you go. That's created a little bit of headroom. Cool. Now we have also got some more tech here. So we've got access to $2,000 for some water pipes, pipe spawns and liquid vents. Rocket launcher of a blast damage type for 3,000. We can actually afford that. Refining planter boxes for 2,000. I've never actually checked those out. I don't know what those do. Vacuum for moving piles of sand. A better way to move sand? Very tempting. Also lights. Upgrades, we've got a couple of hundred. We could get the water collector above ground. I think I'll go for the gun one though. Though I've also realised I'm actually out of time for this episode too, because we're about around an hour at this point. So I do need to be calling it there. The rocket launcher would allow me to get through terrain types. Refining would get me the plant box to do something with those spores, which are building up. And pipes for moving water. Thing is, all of them sound useful. But tell you what, if you guys want me to do another video on this one, let me know, because I'm not quite sure what I'm doing with it. Still, entirely honest. As you can probably tell from how this is all gone. But yeah, things you want me to try and do. If you have suggestions on how to proceed, or stuff just like that. Also, if you do want to proceed, feel free to vote on what I should unlock next with my $3,000 odd, because I'm not entirely sure what to go for. But yeah. Until next time though, this has been I am Mark 3. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this little dip into Sandustry. For better or worse, this is a thing. If it's bad or good, either way we can thank RPA for the little push to actually do video on it. Feel free to like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff helps out me, helps the channel, give those virtual adverts site. Oh, so brave. And I'll catch you all some other time. So I transfer a bit more water up there. Actually, what happens when the water overflows? Where is the water? The water is actually very low, so it is good to be trying to dig into this a little bit. Yeah, it's all mixed up at the moment. Actually, isn't there some steam there? Can I pick up the steam? Can I pick up the steam? Don't think so. But yeah, I'll see you all later. Oh, I can pick up the steam. Okay. Sure. I can't pick up water, but I can pick up solids and gases. Seems legit, I'm sure.